Hey, welcome to the series of everything you need to know about Python in simplest possible way. In our previous videos, while discussing strings, we have discussed so many methods in order to manipulate strings, right? As part of that, in this video, we will see one more method, which is a partition. So let us go ahead and see and understand how this partition works with some example. So that will be more helpful in order to understand this particular partition more clearly. So in order to understand this, what I will be doing is that I will take an example which is like, comma, subscribe here. So here what I will be taking is that like and subscribe. So here I am taking this particular comma separate in order to separate this particular like and this particular subscribe here. So now what I will be doing is that I will just call this particular partition. So partition by mentioning this particular comma because that is what the separator that we have, right? So now if I execute this, you are able to see one tuple. This is a tuple which we have in Python, which is represented, which is having the element inside of this particular braces. So here you can see the result. We are getting this particular like and we are getting this particular comma and we are getting this particular subscribe. So in this tuple we are having three elements. One is this particular element that what we are mentioned in this particular partition parameter, and to the left side we are having the like and to the right side we are having this subscribe. So what this partition do is that by this you can able to understand we will be getting a tuple. In this tuple we will be having the left side part to this particular partitioned element, and in middle we will be getting the partition and the right side we will be getting after the words. So the first occurrence it will be taking and it will be considered that particular thing as a partition. Let's say if I give something, let's say if I give comment here, and now if I execute this, you can see this particular comment is also coming after this particular subscribe. So it will be partition this particular whole string whenever the first occurrence of this particular parameter is encountered. Here after this particular like itself we are getting this particular partition comma, so that we are getting this particular subscribe and comment after. So in order to, you might be having some confusion with all commas present here. So for that I will take this particular space here and also after this particular subscribe, and I will mention the space in this particular partition also. So now if I execute this, you can able to understand more clearly. We are getting this particular like to the left side and we are getting the partitioned element, that is space in this case. After that we are getting this particular subscribe and space and comment as a single string. So I hope you can able to understand this particular result. A tuple with partition element in middle. To the left side we will be having the occurrences that what we have previously before this particular occurrence of partitioned element. After that we will be having the remaining string. It doesn't matter though we have the occurrence of this particular partitioned element, it doesn't consider because it only consider from left side first occurrence. So in order to consider this particular right side, what we have is that we have one more method which is rpartition. By using this rpartition, we can able to do this particular process from the right side itself. I will take this particular same example here and I will mention this particular thing as rpartition. So now if I execute this, you can able to see the different result. Here we are getting like subscribe as a single string and we are getting this particular partition element which is space in this case. After that we are getting this particular comment. Why and how this happening is that this particular rpartition consider this particular string, such this particular string element that we have defined in this parameter and from the right side. So whenever it encounter that particular first occurrence from right side, it will partition this whole string into three elements. One is this particular partition element in middle and right side and left side. So by this partition will be happening. So you might be having a question that how this particular partition helps. So let us go ahead and see one of the examples so that you can able to understand it's a real use case in our real time. So let's say I am having a string Ramu good boy I will just have this Ramu, good boy. Don't worry about the grammatical things at all. Don't worry about the grammatical things and all. Just consider this string which is Ramu, goodbye. So now what I wanted to do is that I will just partition this particular thing with this particular good here. So now if I execute this, I need to mention T here, and if I execute this, we are getting Ramu, good boy. So like this, we might be having many strings. Ramu, goodbye, Ramesh, goodbye, Mahesh, goodbye. Like this, we might be having many strings. In all those strings, if you want to extract the names here, in this particular tuple, we are having this particular name, which is Ramu, in the first index itself. We can able to access these elements using indexes. So for that reason, I will just use a name here. Let's say name tuple here. So instead of that, partition tuple, p tuple, we are getting tuple, right? So for that reason, I am assigning this. So we are getting this particular result in this particular p tuple. Now from this p tuple, P-U-T. So from this p tuple, what I wanted to access is that by using this index operator, we can able to access the elements inside of the tuple. So here I wanted to access this particular name. By using index 0, we can able to access the name, which is nothing but Ramu here. So like this, when we have more this kind of statements, in order to get all the names in this particular string, we can able to effectively use this particular partition and use this particular process string, whatever is the process that we have. In this case, we are using index operation to get this particular name. Let's say if I want to extract, let's say if I have this particular Ramya here, Ramya is Ramya, good girl here. So in this case, what we are having is that we are having girl, and in this case we are having boy. In order to extract how many number of boys and how many number of girls we are having, in such case also we can effectively use this particular partition. So in those cases, this particular partition will be very helpful because we are getting the first index, this particular Ramya, and the partition element is good, and after that we will be getting this particular girl. So I will explain that with using this particular partition here. So I am using this particular good here also, and I will be taking this particular let's say R tuple here, and now what I will be doing is that from this R tuple, I wanted to extract this particular girl. We have understood that how we can able to extract all of these elements in tuples in the strings. Similar thing works with the tuples also. For that reason, I am using negative index so that I can able to get the elements which is at the end. So if I execute this, we can able to see here the result is girl. So if I use the similar thing with p tuple also, p tuple, and if I mention -1 here, so here we can able to see boy here, and here we can able to see girl. So like this, we can able to extract how many number of boys we are having in a class, how many number of girls we are having in a class, and after that what are their names. Like this, we can able to extract whatever the things that we want by using this particular partition. So I hope you can able to understand this particular partition, how we can use this particular partition effectively. So quickly I will explain one more time so that you can able to understand more clearly. So we will be calling this particular partition with whatever element that we wanted by mentioning the parameter. So you might be having a question that do we have any default partition? So if I remove this, you can observe we don't have passing any parameter here. If I execute this, we are getting error because it takes exactly one argument here. So for that reason, it was giving an error. If I mention space here, or any parameter that we wanted, with that parameter only partition will happen. There is no default partition. Like that, this partition will happen, and the partitioned element that we have mentioned, that will come exactly at the center, left side and right side, that we will be getting the exact string that we have in this particular string. After that, this particular partition will only happen and consider the first occurrence from the right side. So because of that reason, when we wanted to consider the first occurrence from from right side, we can use this particular R partition that we have seen with some examples. So after that, we have seen a real use case how effectively we can use partition and R partition using this particular Ramu good boy and Ramya good girl example. So I hope you can able to understand this particular partition and how you can use this particular partition effectively. So if you found this video interesting, hit the like button. Like this, we are having some more methods in order to deal with strings that we will see in our coming videos. So thank you for watching this video. See you in the next one.